Overlanding takes us to some amazing places, but how much does it cost? Everyone obsesses over the cost of the truck, and yeah, there's some seriously expensive rigs out there, but the real unavoidable cost of a 5,000-mile trip across Europe have little to do with the vehicle itself. We just got back from an awesome trip across 8 countries all the way to Montenegro, and in the next few minutes I'll give you a breakdown of every single pound we spent on the road. Pulling back the curtain on the costs that you just can't escape. Before we get into the finer detail, here's the big number. We spent £3,400 in total. That includes everything. The unavoidable costs were more like £2,400. Keep that figure firmly in your head because I'm about to break it down category by category and show you exactly where it all went. It's less than you might think, or maybe it isn't. Let me know in the comments. Understanding how it breaks down is key to planning your own trip. That worked out at £147 a day, or £113 a day for the unavoidable costs. That's for a family of 5, INEOS Grenadier, camper trailer, 2 rooftop tents, and what felt like everything but the kitchen sink. 5,000 miles on the clock and just over 3 weeks on the road. Unsurprisingly, fuel swallowed the biggest chunk of the budget. A hefty £1,321, which worked out £57 a day. Pump prices were a bit of a roller coaster. We paid anywhere from a pretty refreshing 95 pence a litre in Bosnia to a jaw-dropping £1.98 in Austria, which for a Yorkshireman raised in Scotland was a right kick in the balls. There's a lot more information on the Grenadier's fuel economy in my 2-year review of the Grenadier, which you can watch after this, or read the article on the Substack. We tried to keep the speed sensible, never really travelling faster than 110 k's. That's 70 miles an hour in God's own units. But even with careful driving, the landscape has the final say. Those breathtaking Montenegrin highlands shaved a few miles per gallon off the average. So a word of advice, if you're planning on tackling serious mountain passes, you need to budget for extra fuel. It's not just the climbs, it's the hairpin bends and generally less efficient driving conditions. Here's a neat little hack that saved us a few quid. Fill up your jerry cans where the fuel is cheap, and then you can use that instead of the Austrian motorway services. I made sure I did that on the way back. Accommodation came in at £604 for the entire trip, which was only £26 a night. Prices in the more touristy areas along the coast were obviously higher. Up in the mountains and in Bosnia they were much cheaper. We only wild camped 3 times. I'd planned to do much more, but 2 of the kids got sick when we were in Bosnia, so we checked into an apartment while they recovered. We were also unlucky with the weather in the Highlands. The average nighttime temperatures in August should have been in the mid-teens, but while we were there, they were down to 6 degrees. We hadn't brought the right bedding for that. We'd been worried it would have been too hot in the tents. We hadn't expected Scottish temperatures. That meant we stayed in apartments whilst we were in the mountains. The first one was €50 a night and the second one was only 35, which was actually less than we'd paid for some campsites along the coast. So that's another tip. If you're going to the Dinaric Alps, be prepared for cold nights, even in high summer. Apart from the 4 nights indoors and a few nights wild camping, we paid for campsites the rest of the time. The most expensive was a very crowded site on the Croatian coast. That was about £70 for the 5 of us with the truck and trailer. The cheapest was in Bosnia, it was only £15. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you. It really means a lot. In return, subscribers can find a full breakdown of all the places we stayed at and all the things we did over on the Substack. Just click the link below. Road tolls added £201 to our total. French motorways are good, but they're quiet for a reason. They're so bloody expensive. It cost us £76 just to get from Calais to Hambach on the German border, and that was one way. We came back through Belgium to avoid paying again. Didn't add any time either. Germany was toll free, well done Germany. Austria cost £35, that was there and back, and the rest we spent in Croatia, which was £90. We could have taken the back roads in Croatia and avoided the tolls altogether, but the back roads are very twisty, and along the coast they're very busy. There are also lots of speed cameras and the speed limits are low, so if you want to travel north to south in Croatia and not take days to do it, you'll have to suck up the odd toll. The views from the A1, which is the main toll motorway in Croatia, are pretty spectacular anyway. It's a really nice road to drive. Another unavoidable cost was getting off this island. We had a few options: the overnight ferry across the North Sea, the Channel Tunnel, and the Dover-Calais ferry. I would have preferred the overnight ferry as it cuts out quite a lot of driving. But unfortunately, they jack up the prices in the summer, and with the trailer on, it was going to cost £2,400. The Channel Tunnel also jacks up the price in the summer. That was going to cost £600. So we went with the Dover-Calais ferry, which was £300. So that was the unavoidable expenses. We also spent another £1,000 on groceries, eating out and activities. To break that down a bit further, we spent £676 on food. Food's another essential, but I haven't included it in the unavoidable cost because you can eat cheap or you can splash out. We did a bit of both. We spent $416 eating out and £260 on groceries. Activities. We spent €40 each on the zip lines in Plugina, which was an awesome ride right out across the valley and back again. We also went rafting on the Tara River underneath the famous old Derdevica bridge. We also had to pay €5 each to enter the Dermator National Park, which we did several times. The rest went on general day-to-day expenses, mostly beer, which is refreshingly cheap in the Balkans. So there you have it, £147 a day to cross 8 countries, swim in the Adriatic, watch the sunset over the breathtaking Dinaric Alps. It was a great trip. Was it worth it? Absolutely, every single penny. Was it predictable? Well, totally, once you understand where the money goes. It's not that hard to work out. Let me know in the comments, what do you spend on a trip? Does my trip sound expensive? Cheap? And if you've got any really good money saving tips, please share them. You can take a man out of Yorkshire. Don't forget to head over to theoverlander.substack.com where you'll find the print version of this video and lots of other interesting things.